Welcome to Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. I'm Star Sports Editor Ryan Finley here with Greg Hansen. Greg, one of the most interesting things I read all week came in your column last Sunday, and it was a column about Dave Hickey and the new president, Robert Robbins, who we will be calling Bobby apparently in print. Yeah. I like that. And about how they're a very different dynamic than maybe Ann Weaver Hart and Greg Byrne were. Yeah. And talked about 3/4 of the way down into your story was a mention that a possible way to renovate Arizona Stadium would be to knock it down and build again.
I think they had the discussion where one of them said, let's just bulldoze it and start over. We'll play in Phoenix if we have to.
Right.
That's probably not going to happen.
Right.
Maybe a couple games in Phoenix.
Right.
Because when they do it, and it's inevitable, it's going to take more than a year to do it.
Right.
Maybe they'll tear down half of the West grandstands. They're going to tear down the whole West side.
Right.
Maybe they'll tear down half.
Oh, wait, the West side, the press box side?
Yeah, they'll leave the press box and suite stand.
Okay.
They're going to tear down the entire West side.
Wow. Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. And to me, it's so funny. I mean, here's the thing. It's an ancient stadium with old pipes, metal bleachers, a dormitory attached to the backside of it. It is a vestige of time gone by, and yet it is not a historical site.
No.
Nothing greater. The 1908 Olympics were not played at Arizona Stadium. It may be cheaper. Is it cheaper to bulldoze the whole thing and start over than to try to bring all this old stuff up to code?
It's funny, the timing of this, that you mentioned it, Houston bulldozed theirs.
Right, they did.
Spent $140 million. That sounds cheap, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
To build a nice little 42,000 seat stadium, which is in its, I think, third year.
It's in its third year. I believe that their MLS team plays there too.
Right.
Right, Dynamo.
So that's got to be one of the options at Arizona. You leave the north end zone standing.
Right.
And start over elsewhere.
Why not? I mean, to me, it's a cool old stadium, but we saw what they did at Stanford. And it's funny. I know most fans would be totally against this. At Stanford, the last day of their football season, they rolled the bulldozers in. They basically gutted the entire place. They didn't knock it down, but they gutted it. And by the start of the next season, through an act of God,
they made it.
They were ready to go.
30,000 fewer seats.
And is it not the best pound-for-pound stadium in the league?
It is. The best viewing experience in the league, even though Stanford doesn't have a rabid crowd.
No.
But, yeah, I think it's the best.
Right, and it's a no-frills kind of place. I mean, there are marble countertops in the press box, which we appreciate. But it's not a wow you with wine and cheese kind of setup. It's just a good utilitarian football stadium where you are close to the action. The acoustics are great. And it's easy in, easy out, a great place to see a game. If Arizona could do much worse than that.
Of the 12 Pac-12 football stadiums, Arizona Stadium is last. It is now last. Everyone else, except USC, which has a plan, has redone it.
Right. Well, USC and UCLA, it doesn't matter. You're playing at the Rose Bowl and the Coliseum, respectively. Those are two wonderful places. I would put second to last. It's funny. Sun Devil Stadium, I thought, was at the bottom.
Yeah, I did too.
Until just recently, and you could look maybe Wazoo, but Wazoo's put a ton of money in their place too.
It's redone. I've been there since it's redone, and it is not last.
Right. The dirty little secret here, if you're an Arizona Wildcats fan, is this: when they renovate the stadium, they will cut capacity and maybe significantly.
Have to.
They have to. I think that would create a somewhat artificial but still legitimate sort of push for tickets.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would give Arizona a little bit of a home field advantage. And for people like me who are above 5'8" and weigh more than 130 pounds, let's say, getting a plastic chair in there as opposed to those aluminum bleachers that are about that big wide, I mean, if you're catering to the modern fan, it has to be a 40,000 seat stadium. It cannot be a 70,000 seat stadium.
It's been 40 years since Arizona added the upper deck on the east side. 40 years.
Right.
And they filled it about 14 times.
Right, right. You ever sat up there?
I've been up there, but never sat there during a game.
Stand up too quick. You'll get the spins up there. Oh. I mean, it's not a bad seat. It's a little like that for me. It's not good. Yeah, interesting times at the U of A, and that's what I loved about your column. The dynamic between Byrne and Ann Weaver Hart was interesting. They were both, I think, cautious. To me, with the backing of a president and Bobby Robbins who's so pro-sports, I think Dave Hickey can kind of take out a machete and start hacking his way through this.
Yeah, they've got ambitious plans and an ambitious president, and It hasn't been like that at Arizona since John Schaefer in the mid-'70s.
Does this spell bad news for the football coach if all of a sudden your university president cares about football?
Sure. You think he's going to put up with a 3-9 season or a 4-8 season that ends with a loss to Arizona State?
No.
No.
So what's the magic number?
Beat Arizona State, number one.
Okay.
And don't win fewer than 5 games.
So win 6 and have one of them be against ASU.
That could save you.
Yeah, that could save you. To me, the lasting image of that game was not the many long touchdown plays we saw. It was something that Robert Robbins posted on, I think it was Twitter. It's him standing in the end zone going like this. Yeah. To have a university president who would prefer to stand in the end zone than sit upstairs and drink wine or sit upstairs and schmooze Regents guys, that's a change. I think it's probably a change for the better if you like sports. It's going to be fun to watch him sort of grow as U of A president.
And one thing that fits into this week, I've heard Bobby Robbins say or tweet or something 4 times, we got to beat Houston.
Right.
Well, he's from Houston.
He's a Houston guy.
But still, what college president says that more than once?
What college president tells you to call him Bobby?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Hughes Federal Credit Union. For Greg Hansen, what is your favorite stadium in all of college football?
Wow. LSU.
Yeah, LSU is pretty great. I'll take the Coliseum at 7 o'clock game. That's a good place to see. I don't want to park there. I don't like coming in and getting out. But when you're there, it's a pretty cool place to see a game. Stanford's right up there too. Stanford's awesome. Yeah. We'll see you next time.